over the years.
As I say, to small children, yes.
Yeah.
No to full-grown men.
That's kind of creepy.
No, you are.
The guy that the Rock plays, he sings a song called "You're Welcome" because he's this like demigod, and he's just basically like
With a fish hook. I remember
Yeah.
seeing the little trailer about that. I lost my fish hook! Like, oh, okay.
yeah, he's basically like singing about like whatever, like you're welcome for all the stuff I did to you or whatever, and just like toward the end of the song, he basically like kind of like interjects that he's about to like steal the girl's boat. Like, it's just kind of like just whatever, like taking your boat, you're welcome. Like, that song's fucking catchy. Why are there so many horses?
There were supposed to be 12 here, and I never put them in.
Okay. It's like
What
they
the
keep
hell?
multiplying.
I think that's 12, yeah.
How much experience is a horse worth?
Not that much.
Enough.
2.
I want to say it's like
Mia.
25 or 50.
Guys, go away. Let me solo kill these horses real quick.
And a dissonant or whatever that AOE spell you have with the tentacles.
Hunger.
Hunger, yeah, that's it.
Oh, when I swapped my spells around, like for leveling up, I took Chill Touch, and you know, obviously flavor for that one, it's like a ghostly hand, like a ghostly tentacle.
Yeah, so last time the party, well, I guess May was over at Castle Ravenloft and went in to investigate just to get an idea of what was there and see what he could find out. Did not encounter Strahd or Irina there, but instead met Rahadin, one of Strahd's servants, and proceeded to engage him with his 2 direwolves. Although Rahadin ran away, and then May proceeded to flee the castle as well. And then came back, and then the party regrouped and got back here and consulted Madame Ava, and she casted a resurrection spell on Rain. And Rain was restored, and so now everybody's rested. I believe we did a full night's rest
Yeah, we
last
did.
time.
Yep.
So everybody should be back up to full, and Bartleby did his inspiring leader speech, so everybody should have a bonus 9 hit points. And I guess we'll pick it up there. It's kind of up to the party. Where do we go from here? So
Zoldak's card said his was the one about the Dusk Elf living among the Vistani, right? Like, did we find out who that was or where they were?
we learned that there's a group of, there's the Vistani we're with here, but there's no Dusk Elves here. There is, however, a Vistani and Dusk Elf encampment outside of the town of Valaki.
Okay.
We did
That's
learn
right.
about that.
So yeah, I guess whatever after our rest, Rain would thank Madame Ava again for bringing her back to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zoldak does give one last farewell. At least thank you and farewell for now before heading out of the tent as we're getting ready to go.
Right. So. Oh, hold on. Continue.
Yep. So Zoldak says, "Yes. So, what's the plan now?" Kind of directing it to the group, and Ismark was also there. Strahd has Irina, but Well, I'm willing to storm the castle if it means finding her, but I am a little apprehensive about it.
Sure about
Yeah,
that?
Mace-
Because you sound more like you just want to storm the castle.
Zoldak says, I just it's I can't stand the thought of what Strahd might do to Irina if we tarry on. But I have a suspicion that it might already be too late.
Yeah, May upon after we had the long rest and everything, and part of the long rest is usually just like light activity. I think you only have to like actually sleep for like 6 hours of it or whatever. But part of it, he kind of mentions that during his meditation this time, he's realizing that he's like the land or something is having some kind of effect on him, and that he's very confused. So he wants to kind of like be on the back burner for a bit, and he just wants to kind of like collect his thoughts.
Yeah.
Like he thinks something is actually like affecting his mind, like, and he's like, I need to get back to base.
Understood.
So he's just kind of like acting quiet.
Rain would probably say something to the effect of, like, he's speaking from someone who he's killed. Like I think that storming the castle now would be a bad idea, because we fought him before, and obviously she doesn't know how it turned out. Like, she doesn't know about the nightmare or anything because she hasn't asked. But it's like we fought him before, and like whatever. Like, I died. I think that we should like gain more knowledge. Of course, Rain with like knowledge, but like our fortunes. The Dusk Elf, the Great Stone Dragon. Like, there's not enough information that we don't have yet, and. To Ismark, I agree that, Irina should be our first priority, but, like, we've seen what he does to people when he wants them dead. Like, if he wanted her dead, she would just be dead. So, she's probably safe enough for the time being. We can't help her if we're all dead.
Ismark's kind of been silent most of the time, just kind of nodding to what everyone's saying, but he speaks up here and says, as much as I don't like it, I'm afraid you're right. It won't do us any good to go there and just get killed trying.
Speak for yourselves. Dwarves don't die. We are eternal. This gives most poor sense.
Yeah, and Zoldak says, yeah, I agree. I think we need more information. We need to find. There has to be some way to deal with him. Something we can do to get an advantage. Maybe these cards will help us, but there has to be something out there.
I really don't have anything clever for Bartleby at this point. I'm working on it, but I feel like it would be something about, delaying justice is fine as long as justice is served.
All right, so Zoldak says, so I guess we're not going, or not necessarily. We don't necessarily have to go to Valaki anymore. Although, from what the Vistani told us, the Dusk Elves, those Dusk Elves are there. So maybe it would be of benefit to stop there next. But is there anywhere else we should go or consider pursuing? We have.
Rain looks at everybody else.
May is looking at the ground.
May's looking at a watermelon he found.
May is strangling the ground, saying, "Give me answers."
Gizmo, where do your dwarven eyes want to see?
Gizmo gave his 2 cents. He doesn't care what we do. He's immortal.
Which one of the cards was Gizmo's? It says this card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. That which you seek lies in the womb of darkness, the devil's lair, the one place which you must return.
Yeah, that was Gizmo's 10 of swords.
Mhm.
Rain asks everybody, where was that gate again? Like where that was to Valaki, correct?
Yeah, as Mark says, right northwest of here.
Maybe we should go through that gate and continue to Valaki, or at least continue to the Vistani camp. You know, see what they can offer, and then regroup from there, because they could offer, you know, a solution to this, like the womb of darkness or whatever we're seeking. Like if they can point us in the right direction, then we'll have a new mission from there. And if not, then we might consider storming the castle from there. Like get there and reorganize our thoughts.
Yeah. At least right now, it seems like looking for this Dusk Elf is the clearest picture we have right now. Yeah, Zoldyck says, "All right, sounds like a plan to me."
Also, Rain references her card, the Four of Stars, that knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. So, you know, this Dusk Elf might provide that. So it's, you know, or not, but it's best to always have the most knowledge you can.
Yes.
May, as he's getting up from the ground, will just mention, and if he tries to attack us again, I think we'll be ready this time.
Very true. All right. So do you all head off then?
Sure.
We hit the ground running.
Sounds.
It's my continues to strangle ground.
All right. I'll move us
As he's running.
He's actually a land shark.
land shark. All right. I'll move the party to the overworld map. Who wants to lead?
I will say that May is hovering towards the back now,
Yeah.
so he will not be leading.
I would have Zoldyck, but I'm the GM, so I wouldn't want to
Well,
be talking myself. I think Rain kind of seems to have charge now.
okay. I suppose. Rain's pissed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you can proceed along the path. Just let me know how far you want to go, and I'll let you know if anything.
Okay. I guess continue to the crossroads at first.
Yeah. You'd actually have to kind of go down and around. This actually leads to the base of the waterfall.
Oh
the
yeah,
trail.
that's.
But
that's
but
right.
you know, yeah, you can. You do if you proceed to take the trail up the up the mountain path. You do get to the bridge.
Oh,
and,
okay.
you know,
So we'd get here.
so-
We'd get to the bridge
yeah.
without issue then.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Rain approaching the bridge, does not cross it yet, and looks back to the group. Shall we cross like we did before, or shall we, all cross at once?
I think we're okay. We had to come back. We had to come back this way to, get you resurrected. We didn't run into any issues there, so.
As we're walking along this path, are there any animals that we see?
You don't see very many. It's pretty rather void of life. But you do notice a few, like a raven or two from time to time. seems like they're almost watching you, and then when you kind of catch notice of them, they fly off.
Okay.
There's a mouse or a rat or some shuffling in the bushes, off the trail, but much less frequent than the forests you're used to.
Okay. If there's like a mouse or something, I'd like to attempt to cast animal friendship on it.
Okay.
Basically, I want to cast this, and then like if you want to have me roll charisma checks, but basically I just want to convince it. Yeah, I mean that I mean it no harm, and that I want it to come with me, and like that'll feed it. Like I'll give it like a good berry and everything. Like I just want to have like an animal with me. Even if it's just like a mouse or something. Like
Are you
it doesn't have to be something that attacks. Like I just want an animal near me.
Are you luring in a mouse or a small child? Come with me, I'll feed you.
Yes.
Is there music playing here? Is there music playing for you guys? I don't know if it's just...
Yep.
Okay.
If it's not for you, then you will have to exit and then come back in.
Okay.
Because...
There it is. I think it just delayed for a little. Like, it tends to do that when it loops. But anyway, yeah, so this mouse actually, when you cast animal friendship, this mouse comes out from the underbrush, and it's this sickly, clearly starving. It is, skin and bones. So when you mention that you'll feed it, it's very eager to take you up on your offer. And
yep, I'm also going to cast Goodberry, and I'm going to feed it one of them.
Yeah, and it starts nibbling at the berry.
If it's enough to feed one human for a day, then this mouse just got poisoned. Its liver is gone.
Death. Overfed in one feeding.
Yeah. Yeah, so it you pick it up and it, rests on your shoulder or in your coat pocket or wherever you decide to.
Sorry for all the coughing, by the way. Just this cold is killing me.
No problem. Okay, yeah, so May, you do that, or you convince the mouse to follow you. And you proceed across the bridge without trouble.
Okay. Oops. Hold on. Okay, I guess we'll approach this again. The gate.
Yep. Yeah, the gate. When we approach it, and go to push on the door, it still has that force. Like it's like when we push on it at first, it has that force that it's like trying to keep us. Like there's somebody pushing from the other side.
Okay.
But then it kind of lessens a little bit, and
I DC'd, so I just came back.
Oh, okay.
We're
back at the
40
gate.
Seconds. Okay.
At gate pushed. There was force. Less force now.
How did you DC from Discord? Usually it's...
To which point?
No, I mean it was my whole internet.
A single person can easily hold it open for everyone, but it's still like it's trying to, there still is some pressure.
Actually, the one that DC's from Discord's CJ, and he hasn't done that yet.
Not yet. Just wait for it to happen. It happens at least once during each session.
Bartleby will push the door open and beckon everybody through.
This is the gate.
Yeah. Ismark is with us too, by the way.
Yeah, as we're here, May would be more on edge. Like.
Yeah, Zoldak is also, has his glaive drawn at all times.
He's percepting.
I would.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I would ask.
Percepting.
As we walk by, does Rain see is there like a blood splatter where her corpse hit the ground?
Yeah.
Rain.
There were fireballs cast in this area, so
yeah, you wouldn't necessarily you can tell near where you landed, but Yeah, there's blood and splatter marks, and
Yeah, Rain.
you know, even already the corpses of the dire wolves that were there are decaying and rotting, and the corpse of the horse is there too.
Rain is startled by the corpse of the horse at first, and Rain would like to investigate the horse. Like, was he riding bareback? Were there like saddlebags? Is there anything like
I was riding
Yeah.
generally lootable?
There was a saddle, but nothing lootable. And you don't have to roll for that.
Okay, Rain looks at the horse and just kicks it. Rain actually Eldritch blasts its legs off.
Yeah, its legs blow off.
Why to a poor horse?
Well,
This
it's
is
a
the
nightmare,
nightmare.
technically, so.
It's the-
Demon horse.
It's already dead though.
So was I. If this is revived, I don't want it to have legs again.
Yeah, but nobody cares about your feelings.
May's
Nobody
gonna
cares.
do medicine on the mouse. By the way, like this probably would have happened before, but just does it look like with time he would be able to mend it, or
Yeah,
okay?
you just get the feeling that, like, yeah, the woods in Barovia are not, like,
Right,
it's a struggle
suitable.
for anything
Yeah.
living to live
Yeah.
out there.
In Barovia.
Save for
Oh,
maybe, like, the vicious predators, like the dire wolves and the wolves you've encountered, but
One time in Barovia.
This is what Gizmo heard.
Right,
Gizmo's
I'll
not-
reveal,
Gizmo's not that obsessed.
more area. So the,
He heard drunken hairy women.
I suppose if there is a marching order, Bartleby would probably be marching up front with Rain.
yeah, and I guess Zoldak would be in the back, just to, in case, any ambushes or anything come from behind. Unless the group would rather have him, up front, but he'll go basically
Yeah.
wherever.
May would be in front
To
of
protect.
Zoldak. Like he doesn't need to be the very back.
Yeah, the trail continues on for a ways, and it's still, like, it's kind of leveled off. Like, you're not going up a mountain anymore, but you're still in, like, the kind of like the highland area compared to where Barovia was.
Okay.
Still, patches of forest here and there.
What time is it by this time?
Let's see. You started off, in the morning. It's like every block. That it was like 2 miles to the castle from where you are here.
Jesus.
So you've gone 4, 5 miles about.
Okay.
And
It's
so
probably about 2 hours.
yeah,
Is
walking. Yeah.
is the sky the same?
Yeah, it's you still even the whole time you've been here, it's like the sun has just not poked through the clouds overhead. It's clearly daytime, but it's like a gray, overcast daytime.
Okay. So I feel like I know how this is gonna go before I do it. I'm gonna hit it anyway. Rain tries to listen for anything and hears nothing, and asks May if he hears anything, like wolves howling or anything of the sort.
May isn't just whatever his 23 would get him.
Yeah, you don't hear any wolves howling.
Yeah, he'll say, "No, I haven't heard any wolves since yesterday."
Okay. I figured that's exactly how that roll would go. So,
What,
I guess we-
crappy? Or just nothing?
just
No,
no
you don't
crappy.
hear- he doesn't
I have no
hear.
modifier, so it's like crappy. So I would say to the edge of this bush, like what do we see like looking out like in this
Yeah,
direction once we break?
It's essentially a mountain trail.
Giant dragon!
Yes.
Like I said, the ground, there's ups and downs, but overall it isn't rising anymore.
We're probably going a little bit slower here if it's
Yeah.
going up.
Sorry. Okay. So I guess continue, guys, to like the fork in the road.
Yeah, so you do come up to a fork in the road.
There are no gallows here, correct?
No.
Is there mashed potatoes?
No mashed potatoes either.
All that for.
But there's a fork here.
About that base. And booty.
Hold on a second, I'm just reading something.
I don't.
Is that what we hear?
Yeah, there's a new bard in our group, and she really
Yeah.
likes bass and booty.
And fails all of her rolls.
May turns into a dickopotamus.
I think this bard's farting on us.
Oh, okay, I see now. Alright, so I was reading this description and it didn't make sense. I was like, there's no way. Like, it's saying you should technically be able to see the village from here, and I'm like, what? Like, that's... But no, so when you get to the fork in the road here, I'm actually going to reveal quite a bit. You can't see any details of this, but the path here actually
Is that the
actually
top
starts
of something?
sloping down into a
Right.
valley. So you can kind of see into the valley a bit. And the path, you can see that there's a village. You can actually see the village of Valaki down in the valley. And there's also a lake that you can see the edge of. As well as the valley, the fact that it's more forested than the mountain trail you were in. The other path you can see like leads down a bit, but then there's an old windmill at the bottom, or like kind of not too far in the distance.
Where is it?
South.
Yeah, so the windmill
us.
is. I need to move Rain to the side a minute so I can. Right there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rain is on
at
the windmill. That's where the windmill
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's so yeah, the fork in the road here, so that you can see like the trail starts to lead down into the valley, and then kind of like not too far down into the valley is where the windmill is, and then this other trail kind of winding up here goes down into the valley around, and then you can actually see the town. Looks much larger, or looks larger than Barovia.
Oh, great.
Maybe about twice the size.
So do you guys think that the Dark Elf or the Dusk Elf and Vistani camp is out? Because they said outside of Valaki. Do you think it's like actually like right outside, or do you think it's like this way, like toward the windmill or like south? Obviously not the windmill, but like what direction do you guys think it's in?
Think what's in?
The Vistani Dusk Elf camp.
Oh, he said.
They
They
said it's
said it was-
outside.
They
Right.
said it was
Well-
outside of Valaki, but kind of in close proximity to it.
Oh, okay.
That's what Zoldak says. So I think we should just go to Valaki.
So it's probably like right in here.
There's
But Zoldak
Yeah.
says, hold on, I think he starts reaching, like rummaging through his pack, and says,
Yeah,
I
I mean, I'm
think
just kind of guessing, but I think it's somewhere in this area.
Zoldak's rummaging through his pack, and he says, here it is. He said, and he holds up a deed, or two deeds rather, and he says, when we were in that house, the house with Rose and Thorn's house. And that secret room, we found a chest with the deed to the house and the deed to a windmill. I suspect that's the windmill.
Does that mean
Would
we're the
you
new
guys-
owners of a windmill?
We own a windmill, guys.
Yeah, we own a windmill now.
We do have the deed, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm thrilled to own a windmill here. A windmill.
A windmill. Rain remembers what the house in Barovia was like, and fears that the windmill will be similar.
Yeah.
Um,
Zolrak's just like, yeah, we have more pressing matters to attend to, but we should just keep this in the back of our heads that this is here.
yeah, Rain wants to investigate it, but understands there are more pressing matters. So,
Yeah.
if everybody's good to continue, then I guess we'll zoom to, like, here before getting more info. Like, right there.
More of the same. It's just the trail's kind of winding, like kind of hugging the edge of the valley as it's kind of gradually curving around
Okay.
and going down. Obviously, the lake is at the base of the valley as the.
Do the woods seem similar here to all the rest?
As far as you can tell, yes.
Can we see the water from here? Like, I mean, does it look like diseased? Is it like, like a dark green, or is it more like a blue?
Yeah, like is it
It's-
bay, lake, ocean?
Lake.
Okay.
Yeah. Clearly lake. The water doesn't strike you as anything like absurdly
Probably have
wrong
to
with
be
it.
closer.
Yeah, you can if you just go off the trail a little bit, like you can see it through the trees, like, and still see the trail and the lake, in the same proximity.
So is the atmosphere of this location the
Um,
same as Barovia?
What was the first part of that, Tim?
Is the atmosphere like the same, like just like
Yeah.
dreadful? Oh, okay. Because my following question is, how is my connection to my Lord and Savior? But
Yeah, it hasn't changed. You still feel that disconnect that's just been looming over you the whole time. As does Bartleby. The water, though, the only kind of odd things about it, I guess, is that the water's perfectly still, and dark. Doesn't necessarily look dirty, but looks dark. Just kind of as it's kind of reflecting, the dark clouds overhead.
Did we move to here without issue?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I would say, like, here and ask if we see the Vistani camp.
You do not.
Wait, did you say each hex is a mile or half a mile or
Half a
quarter of a
mile.
mile? Okay.
Or each hex is a quarter mile. Each square
Yeah.
that kind of takes up like 3 hexes roughly is a half mile.
Yeah.
And I think I have the scale right.
Yeah. That's I was
Yeah,
thinking in my head for a second that the hexes were 1 mile. I was like, wait, the distance between here and the gate is like freaking 20 or 30 miles. But
If
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
we've traveled essentially 2.25 miles as the bird flies to where we are. 2.5.
May could have used his like land strider thing to just like go straight through here and cut off the entire, like,
Yeah.
no slower. He's just walking through.
Yeah.
Is there anything off to here? Because it appears that like the trail kind of is like, is that like sand?
Oh, that's
dirt,
supposed to
or-
be words. It's the name of the trail, but it's a little blurry.
Oh,
it's something
Yeah,
that we
it's-
wouldn't know unless Ismark told us.
Yeah. And he would say, yeah, that's the let me find the name of it.
okay. So I guess we continue
Seems
to.
like
Yeah, it's
old
the-
North Road or
yeah.
something.
Old Svalich Road. Yeah.
So I guess we continue to Valaki.
Oh,
Like that.
yeah. Yeah, so when you get to Valaki, let me...
When you have a Ukrainian supervisor, you basically know Ukrainian.
Yeah.
You're like, Habladel! I'm like, oh yeah, you mean this.
I wrote that word today.
You mean that.
Yeah.
Habladel!
Yeah. So so Ismark does, when you're like, yeah, he does. You did hear him mention Old Svalich Road at
Old
some point
Salad
when you're
Road.
Oh,
the Salad Road. Yeah.
Salad
so
Road?
So actually, yeah, I'm gonna. So up in this direction, I'm not gonna reveal it. Whoops, where's my ruler? Up that way, kind of in this direction, are dark mountains, way far in the distance, several miles. But because you're in a valley, though, you can see them. There's also mountains, at least one larger mountain, very far to the south. Here, kind of in that direction. Yeah. So
is any of them like is one mountain higher than the other? Like, is there like they're like a profound mountain, or are they all like a mountain ridge? Are they all roughly the same size?
The top one is more like a mountain range. The other is more like a single mountain, but it's not like the mountain to the south is more prominent than the ones up north.
Rain
maybe a little bit more prominent.
Okay. Rain just remembers her
possibly
card.
because it's closer.
Okay. Just because Rain is remembering her card, the I see a fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon, look to the highest peak. So she has an eye peeled for high peaks.
Yeah, good call. Let's see what else. So yeah, when you get to the village, unlike Barovia, which was not walled off, this Valaki is surrounded by a wooden palisade. Thick fog presses up against the wall as though it were looking for a way inside, hoping to catch the town unawares. But the dirt road ends here up at the town, up at a sturdy iron gate. A pair of shadowy figures stands behind the gate. And planted in the ground and flanking the road outside the gates are half a dozen pikes with wolf heads impaled on them.
It's better than what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were about to say dead people.
No.
There's just half a dozen dead guys buried into the ground. Like, oh, okay.
They look more prepared here than in Barovia.
Yeah, Zoldak says, well, if they were the ones responsible for killing these wolves, I would say so.
Did you say there's a figure like inside of the gate, like a humanoid figure?
Yeah, two. Like so like you're looking at like a palisade fenced wall, and like it's like there's almost like you figure there must be some sort of ledge, like upper ledge, because you can only see their heads, like over the top of the fence.
Okay.
So it's closed off.
Yeah, it's closed off, and they have like some sort of like balcony that they're standing on, looking over.
Rain kind of like puts her head down and slinks back to like the middle of the group to not draw any unnecessary attention.
May, seeing this, will say, Ismark, you know the people of this land best. Perhaps you should approach. All
right. Yeah, he steps up. And when he approaches, the guards take notice, and they say, "Halt! Who goes there? State your business." And Ismark says, "Hello, we're travelers from Barovia, or at least I'm a resident of Barovia, and these are my traveling companions. We're traveling here seeking safety from the master of this land. We just seek shelter, and room and board is all." The guards.
And then Bartleby steps forwards and he says, "I am Bartleby, breaker of hands, staker of sons." And then he steps back.
There's the guards just kind of like peer down, so, like they're eyeing us with suspicion, almost to the point where it gets to be a little uncomfortable. But then they duck back down. There's a few moments where you hear some shuffling behind the gate, and then the gate opens. And then I'm going to move us to Valaki.
If you reveal a small area, make sure to shift click us.
Yeah. It's just it's taking a moment to load for me.
Yeah. Just...
It's a rather large map, so hopefully it loads for me. I might have that.
If you're using Firefox, you should be fine. I never had that error again since using it.
Nobody,
Shut the hell up.
nobody wants to use
you,
Firefox.
You never had that error ever again. Maybe I would. Come on.
Nobody willingly wants
There
to
it
use
is.
Firefox.
Okay.
A tear falls
Yeah.
from my eye as I default use Firefox.
Your computer is still like crying inside.
Yeah. Well, I had it, and then I zoomed, and now I lost it.
So do you still
I think
use
it's just
Chrome,
because the
Jordan?
map is really large.
Yeah, I just have Firefox for D&D.
Oh.
Like I have it open up all my D&D tabs.
Like Fox is your it's not your Firefox browser, it's your Roll20. It's your D&D browser.
Just
Yeah,
dedicated
with custom art of
D&D.
a Firefox wrapping around a D20.
Yeah. I had the map and then it disappeared on me.
Rip.
All right. I'm going to log
Pepperoni,
out.
pepperoni. Gizmo wants to thunderbolt the gate.
Yeah.
Do 12 damage to those sons of bitches.
Please no.
Yeah,
This
sorry.
one's like,
log
what
out.
me into your beer and your women.
I'm gonna level 9 shatter. 38. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a lot of high rolls in there. The first 4 were pretty good.
I would like to find the nearest rock and use Dissonant Whisper.
On the rock.
On the rock, yes. Teach that rock.
The rock does not respond.
I win.
It is a rock.
And then I'm
It's scared,
Help me!
speechless.
and I fail Warhammer. And then I'm gonna mass healing word everybody at level 9.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you when you enter
Holy shit.
oh, there we go. Now the maps. Hopefully if I zoom out, I still have them there.
Don't touch that zoom.
I needed to zoom out at least a little bit.
Oh, I was kind of hoping Spiritual Weapon would have crit. It's been like, that's the roll I just used
Yeah.
pointlessly.
Save that one for later.
Okay. Now
shot- I'll Shocking Grasp myself, and then Hellish Rebuke myself for hitting myself.
And then I'm gonna skeleton club or bone club your face.
Skeletons.
There we go.
3
I
damage.
only wanna-
God, that's blurry.
Yeah, you'll want to zoom out pretty far. The scale for this map is like the town's like 2 miles long, like 1.5 miles long.
I
So-
don't want to zoom out that much because I can't see the characters.
Yeah, I'm kind of focused on these, like, tiki zombie stonehead people.
These people.
Yeah, they're supposed to be guards.
Tiki zombie and stone people. How can
All I
you
see
be?
is, like, stone-faced people with, like, pulled-back afros.
I wonder if I could,
Spears.
Enlarge May. There we go.
Oh Jesus! You mean
Oh.
rain?
And yeah, the scale's a little wonky, so.
Oh, I'm
they
still
do.
zoomed in at 100%.
Are we
I'm seeing
playing
all the
D&D
details.
or Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan now.
I kick the wall in.
I eat babies.
I'm zoomed in so far that I can see the facial features of the characters.
On this day, we give humanity a grim reminder.
Yeah, so I'll reveal that. Yeah, like I said, I tried to do my best, but yeah, I agree it is blurry. So we'll make do though.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
so
doesn't matter.
here, the guard, when the guard lets you in, they shut the gates behind you.
Oh wait, they let us in.
Yeah, they let you in.
Oh.
He said they
It's their
opened it.
mistake. It's their
Yeah.
mistake.
Whoa!
The
Mago's
one
on a
guard
bloodthirsty
says-
tyrant.
Yeah. Right.
No, the one guard says, Now, don't go about causing any trouble. You'll be dealt with quickly if you do. And then he says, "All will be well," and goes back to
May has his hood up
goes
and
back
his mouse
to
hidden.
watching over the wall. So the first area there, when you kind of make your way through the village, a few things you notice. One, right off the bat, this place is already a step up from Barovia. Some of the houses look old, but they don't look necessarily like broken windows, boarded up, you know.
Mhm.
Buildings don't look like they were attacked.
Right. There aren't any places that look like they've suffered a lot of
We're not
wear
like
and
in the
tear.
Great Depression anymore.
Right. You're still not in like
We're
like,
not
you know,
the Great Depression's
luxury.
yeah, the Great Depression's over for these people, but they're still not better.
Yeah.
This is previous Great Depression.
There are actually people walking around on the streets.
And not ghost children?
Not
Thank
ghost
Jesus.
children.
Gizmo gives a
Plus
prayer.
one.
He's so
But
happy.
you still see that the people that you do see, pretty much all of them are just kind of like, there's not anybody that's like going around all happy and cheerful. Really, it's still everybody's pretty much either with their head cast down. They give you a few glances as you pass by, or they're just kind of keeping to themselves, or they ignore you. The first area there that you when you approach area N5, as you make your way kind of into the village more. Let me reveal a little more. This N5 is the area just to the left of it. This kind of open area. So if you actually walk in a little further to there, you see what looks to be some sort of stockyard. A sign at the entrance right here says that this is Arasek Stockyard. When you glance down into the stockyard, one thing that catches your attention is a carnival wagon. It's colorful, but the paint is peeling off. And that's pretty much all you can tell about it from this distance. Looks like there might be a store or two in there.
Okay, is ND5, is this is this red roofed house anything like?
No, N5 is actually referring to the stockyard. To the
Okay.
left of it, right here.
Okay. Did you guys want to go check out the stockyard, or find an inn, or?
Maze is kind of following everybody, taking the main road in. Seeing the stockyard.
Oh yeah,
So
if you
whenever
guys
you
decide
say
to split up, feel free to.
Whenever you say
Let-
stockyard, you don't mean like animals, do you? You mean like crates and things piled up, or like?
Yeah, it's mostly like crates and goods and
Okay,
that
yeah,
sort of
right.
thing. Not so much animals.
Yeah, not like.
Yeah, it's more like storage and that sort of thing.
Right. Kind of like the off part of a dock or something. Where
Yeah,
stuff is
like
just,
basically
kinda piled up.
a dock, but for land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess continue.
Zoldak says, "Well, we need a place to stay, so an inn's at least something we would want to find."
Whenever we were approaching this town, did it seem like there was a pathway, I guess what would be north out of this, heading to the lake?
Not you didn't see any paths heading north. The road just led into here.
Okay.
You think that possibly there's there's another path leading out of the village, maybe from the north up to the lake. That would make sense considering how close they are to it.
Yeah, May says that he wants to he's fine with like getting the lay of this town a little bit, but he will want to either investigate the woods in the area, or like scout it out, or just go check out the lake.
Okay.
While May would be doing that, despite what the rest of the group is doing, just to kind of cover everything, Rain would use her class or her background feature, the researcher, and to reiterate, I guess I should just like make this a thing so I can click it. When you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore and you do not know the information, you can often know where you can obtain it. Usually comes from a library, scriptorium, university, or sage, or other learned person or creature. So just if I could draw upon any, like, I want to learn more about like Strahd or this place, if Rain has any sixth sense about where a library would be, or something of that sort.
You think that probably the best place of information here, considering you've never been here before, but you think that if you're gonna want to find answers, finding the tavern or the inn would probably be the best place to find the answers, or at least find someone who knows where to find the answers.
Cool.
So yeah, you could you could ask around and like some person walking by.
Yeah, because this place
if you
isn't
wanted to
quite big
ask.
enough for it to have like a library or anything, but
And then see another person stealing children.
Yeah. So they say or when you talk with one of the people walking by, they say, oh yes, you might want to stop at the Blue Water Inn. It's kind of near the center of town, just north a little bit. If you follow the road that you're on now, and kind of take it toward the center of town, you'll find it. It's just off of the road here on the right.
Side note: did Barovia have a church?
Yeah, that was where with Donovich, the one priest guy that had his vampire son.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Tim
that's
was
right. You weren't
not
here
here.
for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the prayer of Zeus was given at that church. They are well versed in Zeus.
yeah,
now.
it was called the Church of the Morning Light, right?
Morning Lord. Yeah.
Of the Morning Lord.
I was only
Like
asking
morning,
because
like sad, or morning, like
Morning as in like time of day.
because in Hamlet I got free stuff from the church. So there's I asked.
Yeah.
Gizmo's always interested in finding the nearest local church, but always is wary because he doesn't know what type of religion or weird oddities they do.
Yeah. Do you inquire of anyone like while you're walking down the street about that?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the okay. Yeah, one of the people you asked says, "Oh yeah, the church here, St. Andrew's Church. Yeah, if you go just to the west side of the town, it's all the way on the west, near the gate." May's doing a religion check.
has he heard of Saint Andrew? doubt it.
No.
But okay.
I have Gizmo do one. Damn it. Has Gizmo heard of him?
Yeah, you would think that if this person was someone of importance, you would know about it. But you figure that because you're in Barovia where you've never been and the customs here are very different, you wouldn't know.
It's one of them goddamn human gods.
Um,
He was probably just a baker.
yeah. So yeah, let's so Rain is going to the inn. I'll pull out the other characters, Gizmo and Zoldak and Bartleby. This way, if the group splits up, just we figure anybody who's kind of in the same general area.
You're a shorter person.
Yeah.
Are we?
So
Ismark.
N2 here, when you're walking down the street, you see that there's a sign hanging on like a wooden sign near one of the homes, and it marks it as the Blue Water Inn. Gray smoke is rising from the chimney of this large 2-story wooden building.
Blue Water Inn?
Blue Water Inn, yes.
Nature.
Upon the roof are several ravens perched, just
Well,
kind of grooming themselves.
Or it's called the Blue Water Inn because the toilet changes colors.
Yeah, so I know, May, you had said you were going to go in another direction, possibly.
May would at least go to see this. He was 50-50 on whether he would go into the inn with them, but after hearing that it's the Blue Water Inn, he's like,
Oh.
oh.
He's hoping he finds a large rat he can become friends with.
Yep.
God damn it.
So, is everybody going into the inn, or is anybody going to do anything else?
May's fine with that. He's not going first, though.
Okay.
In fact, he's eyeing up them ravens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do they have red eyes, or they seem like okay?
No, they seem normal.
I think we're all gonna go to the inn.
To the inn.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back.
I revealed the wrong spot, but whatever.
God damn it, DM.
Yeah, it's all good. You...
Oh wow.
Yep.
I assume this is the inn.
Yep.
Oh, nope.
You saw it. Yep, there is in fact a well.
There is nothing there.
Right outside.
There is nothing there.
Okay, Rain, like, this is her path. She comes here, and assuming she sees it here, doesn't stop looking at it, but goes this way.
There's nothing there. There's a giant squiggly monster.
Okay, that's better. I'll take that.
It's back.
Nope, I'm out again. Wait, is that the entrance to the inn?
Yeah.
The entrance, yeah, is right here.
Fuck me.
B is a stairway that leads up to the second floor.
It's a normal inn, or a normal well. Nothing's gonna come out of that one. Oh my
Rain
god.
would like to try to enter level 2.
Why don't you go through this entrance over here?
Well, you see, in order to get to here, I need to first go through here.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a big no thank you. Bartleby is just gonna walk right in.
You can't have PTSD the entire scenarios.
Zoldak's just gonna like, Rain, the entrance is right here.
Raina's gonna like look at Zoldak and then look back to the well and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go this way, thanks.
Alright.
Can I do a strength save to try and attempt to pick up Rain and just walk in the inn with her?
Sure. Rain, you can make a dexterity save to try to...
There is no save from that! The dwarf is gonna pick
try to,
your
like,
ass
slip
up.
your way out, or if you...
He's just gonna pick her up and she's gonna be sideways, like not looking at the
Yup.
wall, just being like,
I'm a roll dex. Yeah, like,
this is a
Nope.
great entrance to
Yes!
the inn.
Nope. Gizmo picks you up, throws you over his shoulder, and just carries you. to the
Rain,
You have to accept it.
Rain says a lot of words, all of them in Infernal, and they all sound angry.
Infernal always sounds angry.
Somewhere Spugnor understands.
Somewhere Spike Nord. What happened to him? He like vanished. Of course, or maybe he's the evil one.
We'll find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
If
Dragon Ball P.
if Gizmo would bring up Spugnor, I could always use sending to give him a message.
Gizmo doesn't care about Spugnor.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna periodically throughout the scenario send Oliver a message and just remind him that Gizmo hates him.
You're like, hey Oliver, it's Rain. Gizmo still hates you.
By the way,
What are you? Oh, you're investigating. And a giant Spider-Man appears.
Rain,
I hope
Rain?
so.
when Gizmo puts Rain down, she immediately like moves to this corner of the tavern. Like if there's a seat right here, she's gonna sit on it, like right
Yep.
there, and fucking just look right at the door, and is gonna be very unhappy.
And there's 10 lumberjacks at that table.
Yeah.
Good.
10
10 lumberjacks sitting at the table, and there's only 9 chairs. So you go ahead and figure that out.
The only thing that would be worse is I sit down and the lumberjack has a fiery horse tattoo, and then I just get up and then I walk out, see the well, and I just kill myself.
A fiery horse tattoo?
Yeah, it's the nightmare that killed her.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah, and then Strahd appears behind you and is like, hey, how you doing? You're like, no!
Well.
Strahd did the killing blow, but she is like whatever. She's uneasy of horses and pissed at Strahd.
Oh, that's right. That's why you wanted to kill the horses. I thought you just wanted to kill the horses for free XP.
No, just the horse isn't as bad as the well. A horse goes like if she hears a horse like galloping up, she's gonna be like, oh god, what the fuck? Just something about being an infernal and being pulled underwater and the well, she doesn't like that. Like something struck a nerve there.
Gizmo is
May,
going.
knowing
Giz-
all of that is investigating the well.
Gizmo, every periodically, is going to do an intimidation check and just torment Rain with horse sounds.
See, there's the Gizmo that I couldn't roleplay.
Yeah, Rain, if you want to, go ahead and
There's
make
that grade A dwarven.
Do a what roll?
make an intimidation check back just to see if Gizmo intimidates you with his horse. Okay, you're not intimidated.
But he's still doing it.
But he's still doing
Yeah,
it.
I'm still doing it.
Now I don't know if that's getting you annoyed or anything, but you're not necessarily.
I'm gonna do it in the middle of combat, go behind Rain and do an intimidation.
Are there any like is there any fire or sconces in this inn?
There's yeah, I mean there's yeah,
I'm
I
a
guess
divine, you can't attack me.
I was
Divine.
gonna say sconces with candles.
I have that too, thank you very much.
I know. This is where shit gets weird.
No, it's like we're in a fight and there's like 3 bandits and Gizmo goes up behind Rain and so it's like, hey look, there's 3!
I choose voice booms, ground shakes, and I can't. And the fires, whatever, like the fires like flicker and it's just like, oh look at me, I'm Zeus, you can't hear me. I want everybody in the inn to know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, everybody in it, of course, notices that. Just to give you a kind of a description of who was in here when you startled them. Over here are two young men. Look like they might be brothers, or related in
This
some
ship
way.
over here has a health bar, so I'm kind of concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. These two are clearly drunk and talking really loud. And obnoxiously.
The Rain fits right in.
Yeah. The two folks over here are just two other people at the inn. They're listening to the guy right here, who is telling who you pick up a few words. He's telling them some story about like a six-legged half centaur, half gnome, or like the adventures of some half centaur, half gnome person. You're not paying attention to the details, but he's some sort of older-looking man.
And his name is the Heck.
The Heck. Yeah, but no, he's there. He has a a worn but nice looking coat on, or jacket, gray hair, and you do catch that he has pointed ears. But yeah, he's telling them that story. Over here, you have the bartender. She's an older woman with gray and black hair, and yeah, that's about it. But yeah, when you calls the tremoring and the speak in the loud voice, the guy that's telling his story, he's suddenly like, huh, what's going on? Who's that? And then the two drunks are, they're suddenly, stop talking whatever conversation they had, and start looking around like, oh, what's going on? Who's
Did they
doing
see anything at the well?
Yeah, and the two other guests are
Denied.
yeah, the two other guests are paying attention now more to what was that? Who? And then that's when the attention kind of shifts to the group that's just walked in. And the woman at the bar says, "You guests, what sort of magic was that?"
I don't know. Ask the tiefling in the corner.
She turns and says, "Tiefling? Would that be you?"
Rain doesn't make eye contact, but awakened mind, in her burliest voice, pay no attention to the tiefling in the corner.
She says she kind of looks startled. The fact that
was-
you're communicating with her telepathically, and she says, "Right."
She's probably like, what the fuck just walked into my bar? Who the hell are these people?
Can I help you folks?
I want a keg of beer.
She says, yeah, she says, of course. And then, she turns and starts, getting you pouring you a drink.
Is it a keg, not a drink?
A keg.
I want the whole thing.
When she reaches and gets you a glass, you're like, you say no, a keg, and she
Bring me the whole
"Oh."
cask.
She says, hold on. She says, yes, what sort of drink would you prefer? We have purple grape mash number 3 wine, or our superior red dragon crush wine.
Gizmo loses all interest and goes sits down next to Rain.
She's just kind of speechless, like she doesn't know what to make of.
Rain asks Gizmo to whip out his bottomless cask of dwarven ale.
Yeah, Zoldak's gonna come over here and sit down.
Actually, I don't know. I forget where I think I filled it at Hamlet, so it was ever beer what's his name had.
So there is a bottom to it.
Well, Jordan and I were joking a while ago that just at one point you just like pulled out this like kit. You're like, yeah, bro, because that one got your first keg. I think got destroyed by the Knoll leader,
No, I
and
think
then
we mended it.
Yeah, you fixed
oh,
it.
okay. And then at some point you just like started like pulling it out. You're like, I pull out my keg and start drinking, and we're like, what?
It's like-
So
I
It's
never,
just like
I never said that it wasn't magically enhanced.
yeah, so Jordan and I were just assuming that you like had some kind of magical keg that we all kind of accepted as just something that Gizmo has.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
I'm a
The bottomless
cleric.
keg of dwarven
I'm a
ale.
cleric. There is nothing about being hungover.
You drunk every knoll under the table that was there, so
Actually, I drunk
The-
one knoll under the table, and he murdered the rest of them.
the breaker of arms.
That was that own dumbass's fault. I had nothing to do with that.
Well,
I just happened to crit while doing an arm wrestle. And broke his arm.
if Gizmo's offering any ale out of his bottomless ale cask, Rain will take some and remind Ismark that he'll be taking care of Rain's room nicer. Like, hey, remember our deal?
So Mai,
Yes.
or May in this well over here.
Yeah. So yeah, your investigation check. Yeah. So you see the well. Nothing really suspicious about it. It's just a well. Some moss kind of growing on the side and around it, but
Okay.
May speaks to the moss.
otherwise looks like decent enough drinking water.
Yeah, then he'll come inside after hearing part of the tavern shake.
Gizmo?
Bartleby will approach the counter and ask if they have any salted meats.
She says, yes, we do. Cooked wolf steak.
Bartleby will order some and request that it is the finest possible, and then sit down.
Okay.
Who seems older, this guy or the owner lady?
They seem about the same age. You'd place them both at like maybe in their like 40s. I'd say maybe the man is a little older. The woman looks more like she might be in her early 40s. He in his maybe early 50s or potentially late 40s.
Okay. May will go up to the counter to the lady.
Okay.
Is she human?
Yes.
Actually, wait. Does you said that he had pointed ears? I think May would have noticed that.
Yep.
Is he like an elf, like a wood elf?
He looks human, but with pointed ears.
I say he can't be old looking if he's an elf.
So you'd probably assume he's probably a half elf like Zoldak.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, he goes back to telling his story about that half centaur, half gnome, and starts talking about how he slew an albino dragon, and how he flew around the world to the fight took place all over the earth, and
Gizmo starts to have lightning surge across his hands with the word gnome said in the room.
May is going to ask he's going to approach her and say, "Excuse me, ma'am, is there a path from this town to the lake to the north?"
She says, Why, yes, there is. The north path out of the village leads to Lake Zarovich."
Zarovich?
Yes.
Zarovich! Russian.
Oh, thank you.
A Russian lake.
And he'll walk away and come over to everybody else.
Gizmo wants to do a perception check just to see, like...
Yeah, no, he
Everyone's
knows that it was
intention.
that, but he knows that that's Strahd's last name. Like, that's why he got hung up.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Just to see if anybody's, like... I don't know, like, looks like they, like, mean us harm, I guess. Or, I don't
No,
know.
nobody,
like, if anybody took, like, any, like, suspiciously, like, curiosity that we walked into the bar, I guess, or in, I should say. Even though we did make
Yeah,
a
so,
hell of a lot of noise.
Well, yeah, as you're kind of looking at the the different people in the tavern here, the bartender, she's doing her work there. The one half elf is still going on about his stories. The two people listening are like saying, "Nah, you're full of it. That's ridiculous. That's absurd." They're not really buying it. The two guys over here, as you're kind of looking, they both get up and they're holding a glass of wine, each of them, and they kind of stroll over, half stumbling to get out of their chairs and say, "Well, look what we have here. Look what the Burgermeister brought in. What brings you to Valaki? You just gonna
We-
stand there or sit there?"
Gizmo replies with his mother.
We are
What?
currently escorting the arm wrestling champion of Barovia and Hamlet, Gizmo.
You hear that, Nikolai? He's the arm wrestling champion of Barovia. You have a good arm. Why don't you take him on?
Oh, Jesus. God damn it, Rain.
Oh, and
May's
he approaches and,
hitting
like,
here, but he's holding onto his club
Remind
at
you,
his side.
yeah,
Gizmo, you're sitting next to Bartleby, so you have the aura of protection, so you get a +3 to any saving throw you do. So if you try to arm wrestle him, you get 3 more.
if it's a saving throw.
If it's a strength move.
Would
I'd
it
probably
be?
do an athletics check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he kind of barges his way into the table and says, "You're on, Gizmo. I happen to be the strongest arm wrestler in Valaki. Come on, I never back down from a challenge."
God damn it.
Would you allow,
If I hurt this guy, I'm gonna punch Rain in the face after.
because Bartleby wants to see this happen, would you allow him to cast Bless to give him a D4 and add to the attacker saving throw for Bless?
Sure.
Okay, so... Oh, that's right.
That'd be attack roll or saving throw. So
Okay.
athletics wouldn't be. Isn't there one for skills
It's
though?
guidance.
Yeah, paladins don't have cantrips, so...
It's okay. He's drunk. He's making it at disadvantage anyway.
So what am I doing now?
Just make roll in athletics if you want to arm wrestle
Roll
him.
damage.
God damn it.
What's 2d20 drop lowest? Or drop highest?
KL1. 2d20 KL1.
Keep lowest one.
Yep.
Wait a minute. There we go.
Yes!
Oh, I actually won.
Yeah. So he's struggling, and it's a little close, but he's so drunk that it's just like you finish him without much more struggle after that. And he goes, "Oh, come on, best 2 out of 3."
Rain says, "Hey, you fared better than the last guy. He just broke his arm."
"Oh, I'm the champion of Valaki. Of course I wouldn't have my arm broken by this. What are you anyway?"
I thought he was about to make a really bad decision and insult me. I am a dwarf!
This dwarf.
Respond with thaumaturgy, Gizmo. "I am a dwarf," and just shake the whole fucking town.
That's unnecessary. I'm already loud and obnoxious as it is.
True.
And I'm drinking. So am I rolling again?
Sure, if you want to.
Oh, fuck me. Wow! It's just destiny that I destroyed this
you're basically
man.
you're essentially like not even like you rolled really poorly, so it's not like you really gave it that much effort, but he's just so drunk at this point that you just toss him over and like onto the floor, and he's just like, "Oh, 2 out of 3, I lost. No, I'm no longer the champion. You're pretty good, dwarf man. You're pretty good.
Dwarf man.
Now you can be the champion. I'll challenge you next week."
Gizmo has evolved from a dwarf into dwarf man.
Rain shrugs like, "I guess you gotta pay him the prize money."
Prize money? We didn't have any prize money.
Yeah, sure you did. It was based on the champion. You have to give him everything you have. Would you like me to roll deception?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
Jesus. Jesus! Wow!
He says he starts reaching into his pockets and says, "Oh man, I've already spent all my money on drinks.
How does he roll 2 1s? That's horrible!
Carl,
It's
do you
the
have
Waka
any money to
CJ.
pay the champion?" Carl says, I have my last 2 gold pieces on me." He approaches and says, "Here you go." But and then he says, "You owe me for this, Nikolai. You're paying for drinks next time." He turns and says, "Oh, we're all out of money now. Well, let's go back home and see if Ma will give us some more." And they just kind of stumble out. "Bye, dwarf man."
Brain just loses it.
Zoldyck's just like, ugh.
Gives me a roll strength save to punch Rain in face now, but that was a low roll.
Yeah, like he goes to punches her, but she was like already falling out of her chair.
So I punched the air!
Yeah,
Hey.
the half elf moves over here now, and says, he says, "Well, you fine folks here seem to draw a lot of attention to yourselves. Please don't mind the Watcher brothers. They're enough said. But
I didn't say anything.
some things are better left unsaid. Yes, my name is Rictavio. I am at your service."
Rictavio.
Correct, Rictavio. I would say the Magnificent or some fancy title like that, but I don't have much fancy titles. I just prefer Rictavio. Nice and simple.
He's the elfie guy, right? Pointy ears.
Yeah, with the retarded stories.
Yeah. He says, "You look like an odd bunch, but then again, I'm one to talk." And he says, you there," he says, pointing to Zoldyck. He says, you must be a half-elf like myself. So are you travelers from afar?" Usually when... Yeah, he stops for a moment. Rain...
Bartleby is
just
also
whispered him.
Bartleby is also a half elf.
Okay. Yeah, he also turns and says, "Oh, 2 half-elves. Wow, that's..."
Of course, he might have his helmet on, but
Yeah.
True, actually. Yeah, he would in
I guess
entering
it
an unknown town.
Yeah, he kind of looks at Bartleby a little closer and says, Your features look a little angular. Are you by any chance half-elf or have non-human blood in you?"
Bartleby nods. I am a half elf.
2 half-elves. Well, that's a 200% increase in the number of half-elves I've seen around here.
Then we have the midget, little blue man, a man, and myself.
Yes. The dwarf, 2 half-elves, 2 humans, and I believe you're a tiefling. I must say, I've never seen one before, but...
Gizmo
Nice.
claps because somebody actually knew what Rain was.
Yeah, it's not...
And Rain is crying because he is the first person to know what she is.
He says, "You might have already encountered this, but just to, keep this between us. The Barovians are suspicious of, your kind of folk. I'm sure you might have already encountered that. So just be careful. You're wise to wear a hood."
May will say,
But you
"What
don't
do they
bother."
think of folk that have fought half gnome, half centaurs?"
Wait, what was the first part you said?
what do they think of people who have fought half gnome, half centaurs?
Oh, I didn't fight a half gnome, half centaur. That was Veridil, the half centaur, half gnome champion, who the Dragon Slayer. He fought an albino dragon once. This half centaur was so fast that he could run around the entire world in 3 hours. It was quite a pursuit, I must say. Would you like to hear it?
Can we all make insight checks on that?
Sure.
Wait, you don't believe him?
What? What?
Rain,
Do I believe?
May chooses to not believe him. He doesn't even need to roll an insight.
Chooses to
You only roll whenever there's a chance for something, and May 100% does not believe this guy.
Yeah. He's clearly making it up. Like, it's not true at all.
Yeah, but Gizmo doesn't trust people, so he's gonna roll anyway.
Yeah. In fact, like you're almost like that's almost so outlandish that you're like, he's either like the lousiest storyteller you've ever heard, or he's, believes that he believes the nonsense despite it being nonsense, or perhaps something else. But you're like, yeah, he's he's clearly lying, making it.
Rain sends the winky face emoji in Awakened Mind.
Yeah, he acknowledges that he winks back. Well, out. Yeah, so what brings you here?
Come on, Rain, you were so obsessed about that camp. Why don't you ask the question?
Okay, good point. Rain asks, we were told that there was some kind of Vistani and Dusk Elf camp near this town, and we were hoping to be able to speak with them. Do you know where it is?
The Vistani camp. Yes. That would be, they're just southwest of Valaki. Just southwest. Not too far. Just over the hill.
Ah, thank you. We already spoke with Madame Ava and her Vistani camp, and we are continuing on.
Madam Ava, what business do you have with the Vistani there? Well, I mean the camp outside of Valaki, not the ones with Madam Ava.
What kind of role would it be to see if he's asking, is he asking genuinely curious, or does he seem shifty about it, or is that a role at all?
No, you get the feeling that he's just kind of curious, but for whatever his motives are, you're not too sure. He seemed a little bit concerned, or maybe a little bit too eagerly interested, I guess would be a way of putting it.
Okay. First ask that question, I must ask you another. How do you feel about Dreadlord Strahd?
Dreadlord Strahd. He's the master of this land and has complete control.
But how do you...
Yeah, he kind of looks around, making sure nobody else is really listening, and he leans in and says, between you and me, I can't stand and would hope to see a stake driven through his heart, if he had one.
Now, do we feel like he's being genuous in this time?
Yeah. But you didn't hear it from me.
Rain leans in kind, but says still in Awakened Mind. We look to end Strahd's reign, but we need the help of the Dusk Elf first. Madame Ava, her prophecy, her prophecy said it, as well as some other things.
Yeah, he still kind of leans in, talking quietly, and says, prophecy. Oh, you must be referring to her card reading. or fortune telling. Yeah, I don't place my stakes in that sort of thing. But the Dusk Elf, you're looking for a particular Dusk Elf there. So your business is more with the Dusk Elves, not the Vistani.
Rain, in Awakened Mind, again says, while correct, based on her prophecy, we are interested in a particular Dusk Elf. I would bet my life on Madame Ava's power.
Huh.
With-
He doesn't get the reference, obviously, but he says, "All right, well, I will warn you of this. The Vistani at the encampment outside of Valaki are nothing like the Vistani with Madame Ava. They are both called Vistani, but the ones that are in the encampment are loyal to Strahd and are not to be trusted. Watch your backs around them. Keep an eye out."
May, did you tell us anything about the general that you thought that he was a Dusk Elf or anything of the sort?
Was he Dusk Elf?
He was a Dusk Elf.
Yeah, he talked about.
At least you think he was.
I
you've
think he
never-
talked to Gizmo about the fact that they could teleport for whatever reason.
Yeah, I guess you asked. Well, I know. I think that was something Tim just asked, like out of character. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Gizmo or Mai catch this and think it? Because I would like to say something, but I don't know it, so...
I'm not sure. I forget. I don't think May has really talked about his encounter too much at the castle.
I think
Except
you
with
said, no. I
maybe
think you did say
Ismark.
you encountered. I think you did say you encountered something because you explained to Ismark what had happened. I think you explained to him.
but
I don't know
I
if
said
you
that
did
he
this.
ran away or something, and that he was that he was a murderer. Yeah, I said that there was a murderer there that wasn't Strahd. Yeah.
Yeah, because he informed you.
And then
that
I didn't see his
Strahd.
sister. Yeah. I talked to him outside of her hut. I think that's what it was. So I would say Ismark knows more than anybody.
Okay, so it would be up to
Regards to that.
Ismark to respond to that, but should he not, Rain would ask, why, why are those Vistani loyal to... I guess her bigger question would be, why are those Vistani loyal to Strahd and the other aren't? And as a side, do you have any idea... they said that those, why are there two camps of Vistani, basically, I guess is the question that Rain would ask.
Yeah, he says, well, from my understanding of it, the Vistani are at least started off as an extended family and remain loyal to each other. I mean, now at this point, it's distant relations. And others have joined them since, but Vistani are very loyal to each other, and some view Strahd favorably, others do not. So while they remain loyal to each other in a sense, they also have their sharp disagreements. So they've both kind of decided to just avoid each other when possible. At least that's the way I see it.
So,
As for why the one group favors Strahd and the other don't, I couldn't tell you. My guess is the ones that favor him tend to like the power and the wealth that he bestows on them for serving him.
okay, so I guess in order, Rain would, thank you for all your information, and she's speaking, in person now, and then say, you didn't seem surprised by my telekinesis. Tell us about yourself. And as that's going on, Bartleby just kind of looks at the innkeeper and maybe does a fist on the table and is like, "Where are my meats?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, she actually brings it out now. And yeah, serves you. So she's actually given it to you, and you've had it. You have it now. So
Okay, so then at that point, I would
Is
ask.
her arm broken?
I would ask instead then, what does Bartleby think of the meats?
it's well cooked.
Is
Although it's wolf meat. He's never. I don't know if he's had that before.
She's just
probably
really
not,
good at
but-
multitasking with her
I was-
arm back here.
I was gonna say, so I have an idea for this, but what do you want me to roll something to see how he feels about it?
Sure.
What would you like me to roll?
Probably insight versus himself.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna roll with advantage, and the first will be how he likes it, and the second will be how it really was. Something like that.
Sure, that works to me.
So he doesn't like it, and he understands that his liege lord would not like it as well, and he eats it, and it's just kind of like, he eats it respectfully, but at the end he kind of puts his fork down, and in his mind he is just like, my lord would not like this meat. My quest continues.
What?
Disappointing, but
What, does he have a quest to find meats for his lord?
yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
His lord wants him to find the finest cured meats.
Oh.
And
It was a necessary trial in the search for the fine meat, but it was not it.
it tasted bad, and it was bad. at least for his lord. Whatever. If it was like a 2 and a 20, like naturally it would be like, I hate this, but my lord would love it. But yet it was not. So Bartleby is ready to continue his quest. He's already done with this inn.
Yeah. To answer your question about the magic, Rictavio kind of smiles and kind of approvingly of himself and says, "Well, I happen to be a bard of sorts, so magic is kind of
Sorry, I'm starting to see some of
I'm
our.
already well aware and well versed in the various magics out there."
Rain smiles and says, well, it's always good to meet someone who knows of magic and isn't a human. And looks over at Ismark and is like, no offense.
Ismar just kind of nods. He says, "Well, but yeah, by any Rictavio says one more thing. He says, well, by the way, if you're planning on just visiting the Vistani camp, all well and good. But if you have," he leans in more and kind of whispers even more quietly, "if you have any plans of doing the Vistani any harm, please let me know first. I would be more than happy to help." And he then says, well, he then turns suddenly and, kind of jumps back and says, "Well, thank you for your time, friends. I look forward to bumping into you again in the future." And then he says, "But I'm going up to my room now. I've had enough for today." And he goes upstairs. And he kind of leaves without giving you much time to really say anything in response.
I guess I feel the need to point out that I don't know how May would feel about all that, but I'm just like, yeah, as long as they're not human. And it's like, I'm like, sorry, Ismark. May doesn't, or if May doesn't know yet, Rain doesn't. Rain doesn't think of May as human.
May, the whole time, every time the guy was getting closer, May was just, holding onto his club, and he's just, staring the guy down. He was mainly concerned that he was gonna do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoldak was alert, but not necessarily like weapon drawn. Kind of difficult to have a glaive, ready to go with when you're sitting at a table.
I guess after everything that happened, as Reyna's drinking, she's remembering her death and the god and everything, and she, at this point, after all that, is just kind of like staring off into space, like in contemplation. Or her patron, rather.
The bar maid comes up to you sometime later, or a little while after Rictavio leaves and after you've had time to contemplate and all that, and she says, "Can I get you folks anything else?" Yeah, Zoldak says, "Yeah, I'll have a helping of the whatever meat he had, and a drink to go with it. Just whatever your cheap wine is." She
May
says,
asks for vegetable soup.
Right, we can prepare some of that. Anyone else? Ismark also orders something.
1 piece of cheese.
All right, of course.
Bartleby asks if she has any better meat.
She says, "That's what we have right now. We do have some hunters that supply us, but they're not back yet."
Bartleby asks that she sends a horse messenger to him should they acquire better meats.
She says, "All right, I'll let you know when our next shipment comes in."
He nods.
Right. And then she says, "Yes, and you, miss?"
Oh,
Speaking
Rain
to
looks... Yeah, I was doing that pause on purpose.
Rain snaps back.
Yeah, just like, whatever, like, some food.
All right, some food.
Caught off guard, like,
Yeah.
tasty.
Yeah, I want the meat. Like,
Yeah. Will a wolf steak suffice, or would you rather go with soup? Or bread? Or surprise you?
I think he's muted right now.
Sir, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm not a sir.
Well, she says, "Ma'am."
Um,
I said surprise you.
oh, surprise me.
Yeah. Okay. She proceeds to go into the back room. And comes out a few minutes later, back to the bar.
Bring me human.
So Zoldak says, "So we know the Vistani at this other encampment we got to be careful of, and the Dusk Elves are there. Do we know why that is?"
May
Are
will
they
mention
together?
that the lady said that the lake was like basically like Lake
Zarovich.
Zarovik or whatever, and he says I no longer want to go to the lake.
He says, Zoldak says, "Yeah, that's understandable."
I don't need to go there to know that it's poisoned. And there's nothing that I can do for it. I feel sad.
Well, we know what we can do for it.
I can
Strahd.
blow it up and turn it into a mine.
We can kill Strahd like he killed me.
Zoldak says, "Nothing would bring me more pleasure."
I'd prefer not to ride a flaming horse up to Strahd and kill him.
I would also prefer not to ride a flaming well up to Strahd.
Well, of course you wouldn't.
Bartleby reminds us that breaking Strahd's hands will be the least of his worries.
Sometime later, the chef actually comes out and brings us all our food. He does serve some wolf meat for Rain as her surprise. And he's a bearded man with also gray and black hair, like the woman, or the barmaid. And he comes out and he's kind of a bigger guy. He says, "I wanted to come out and meet you folks for myself. Heard you'd caused some commotion. You seem capable of magic, and at least that's what my wife told me." He's saying this as he's passing out the food. I was wondering if you folks wouldn't mind helping me with something if you're looking for work.
Is he human?
He
Does he
He
appear human?
he looks human. Yeah. Something's a little bit different about him. You're not too sure what.
Rain is staring off at the distance again, in contemplation. Bartleby asks, "What are you paying?"
He says, "Well," he says, I would offer you free room and board for at least the next month, depending on how well you perform. I'd be even willing to say 2.
What is the nature of this work?
That depends on the job.
Yeah, he says, "Well, my supply of wine is nearly gone, and the next shipment that I was expecting is long overdue. I get my wine is supplied by the Wizards of Wine Winery in the West. Are you familiar with the place? You haven't been there by any chance?"
Raid nudges Gizmo and says, "We know someone who makes fine wine, don't we, Gizmo?" Gizmo has a heart attack.
That's a strength save for a punch.
It's about to be.
Yeah, swings at Rain doesn't really, hits but doesn't hurt. He says,
Tim, we can't hear you, by the way. I don't know if you're trying to talk.
I'm not.
Okay.
He says, "Oh, I'm sorry, let me introduce myself. My name's Erwin. And as I was saying,
Steve!
I get my shipment of wine from the
Oh god.
Wizard of Wines Winery.
Steve Irwin
So-
lives.
It's very critical to my business, so if you happen to be out that way and could check on it, I'm afraid something's happened there.
Is
I'm
that-
not sure why my shipment is overdue."
Is that anywhere near the Vistani camp?
He says, "Oh no, it's no. Wizards of Wine Winery is to the west and south a ways. If you follow the old Sphalich Woods a ways, as if you're going to Kresk, but before you get there, there's a path that heads south you'd have to travel to."
Rain looks at Gizmo, and again, in awakened mind, I don't care about his problem.
You don't care about anybody's problem.
I care about our problem.
Yeah, May internally is thinking that it would kind of be an insult to Ismark and to Irina to be concerned about wine at a time like this.
Yeah, Zoldak's kind of the opinion that, like, he as a mercenary, he's like, well, hey, any work is good for me, but yeah, we're already hired to take care of other business, so he responds and says, "Well, I can't speak for the rest of my companions, but if we happen to be that way, I would be happy to check it out for the payment you offer. But we have pressing matters to attend to ourselves, and I'm afraid not to sound like your request isn't important, but we're dealing with a life and death situation here that we really must take our full attention right now."
Rain leans in and says, "What my companion means is we are already under contract. If we can help you, we will, but we can't go out of our way."
He kind of nods and says, "Yeah, understandable. With these tough times, everyone seems to have their problems. So I do appreciate it. If you would look into it, but I understand if you can't." He finishes serving the food and then proceeds to go back into the kitchen.
May whispers something to his coat, and the mouse comes out and starts eating the cheese.
Rain is upset she doesn't have her own mouse.
So first thing is the old. Does the soup look edible? Like, is it
Oh, God.
poisoned or
It's
anything?
soup. That's all you can tell. You'd have to try it first.
Okay. Yeah, he'll get whatever utensil he was given and have some.
A knife.
If Bartleby sees May looking at his soup as if, like, is this good? Bartleby's gonna be like, it's probably not gonna be good.
Yeah,
It's probably
edible.
bad.
Okay.
A little bland, but otherwise it's, just a tad. It's not the finest soup you've had, but it's filling.
May will ask the mouse if he fared better with the cheese.
Mouse is more just thrilled to have something to eat, and that's not like starving off in the woods, scrounging for barely passable food that he could find. So yeah, he's very pleased, but his standards kind of low.
May smiles internally.
Yeah, Zoldak says, or once everyone's done eating, or kind of finishes eating, Zoldak says, "Well, I'm ready to be off. Shall we investigate the Vistani camp now, or search around town more?"
May comes over to this lady and says, "Excuse me, what room is the strange half-elf that lies? What room is he in?"
Hold on. Let me take a look. Yeah, hold on. I have to. Okay, there it is.
And also,
Yes,
how much does he owe for the?
Yeah. She says, yes, the Rictavio, he's in the room upstairs, at the end of the hall.
Okay.
At the very end. And then she says...
He comes up with like his bowl
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah, she says,
small plate or
the, for the food and drink, that will be, that'll be 7 silver pieces.
He gives her 1 gold and is expecting silver pieces back.
Yeah, she gives you
Okay.
back the proper amount.
The 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So May says, yeah, just thank you. And then
Mhm.
he comes back to everyone and says, I have one more question for the man that we talked to earlier. And he is going upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, Zoldak's gonna pay off what he owed for the wolf meat. That was that would be 10 silver for that, and then the drink was 3 copper.
Rain understands that Ismark has the agreement to pay her room and board and follows May upstairs because she's not
Yeah.
concerned.
Ismark proceeds to cover your cost. Yeah, so the stairs lead up, and I'm going to reveal.
I would have liked to enter through the second floor, but someone dragged me upstairs.
Inside.
Yeah.
So if you scroll the map up, you see upstairs. Yep, and then the stairs. Oh, yep, got it. So there is a door at the very start of the hallway.
like here, and then down here,
Right.
and also right in front of me.
Yep.
So,
So do you like knock or anything?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He says, one moment.
May looks back, and is Rain standing over there, or is she like behind him?
Rain didn't know what door he's in, so if he's in that one, she will follow.
Okay.
Yeah, and then a moment later, he opens up the door. And I'll reveal the room. You can kind of peek in and see that it's just a small guest room with a bed and
Mm-hmm.
there's
So
a
this
foot
is
locker.
indeed the guy that we talked to earlier.
Yeah. He
Okay.
says, "Oh yes, you're back. What can I do for you?"
Yes. Rictovia, was it?
Rictavio.
Rictavio.
Ricky Tiki, what?
Yeah. Rictavio, do you know a lot about Strahd?
I know some from being a bard. I pick up bits and pieces of information here and there.
What do you know of a man named General Rahadin?
General Rahad.
Rahud.
That
Rahuku.
yes, that would be. Rahadin would have been Strahd's general. He's a Dusk Elf too. From what I've heard, he's extremely loyal to Strahd. He also serves as the Chamberlain of the castle.
I will gladly pay you for any information that you have on this man.
He says, "Well, I don't mind sharing information. I appreciate the thought, but just consider it. I'll answer your questions. You return the favor to me later. I ask you for, if I have any favors.
Depending on the favor.
Of course. But yeah, he says,
May says, "May I come in?"
oh yeah,
Like,
sure.
I would rather talk about this behind closed doors.
Sure, come on in." He says, "Yes, and your friend there too."
Rain will join.
Yeah, he shuts the door.
No, with
he offers
with
to
his
let
such
you,
great vision, sees all.
Yeah.
So
he-
also just initially, as I'm being let into this room, I'm just gonna roll perception. Does there seem
Jesus
anything
Christ.
does this guy seem like what's in this room in terms of does this guy seem like a fighter, or is he like alchemist, writer? Does he have inkwells? Does he have what kind of supplies
Yeah,
or
I
anything does
gotcha.
he have in here? What type of person does this seem like?
yeah.
Why does May care?
Well, I mean, if he walks in here and the guy's gonna pull out a scythe and try to behead him, he wants to come to know.
You already lost the hand.
Yeah.
Your head's
Yeah,
the next
so,
option.
Prefer to have both hands.
So there's the typical stuff that a room at an inn would have. I already mentioned the bed, the foot locker. There's a tall wardrobe. There's a writing desk with a matching chair. and an oil lamp sitting atop the desk. There's also a journal bound in a red leather jacket. So there is also like an inkwell there. So it looks like he does some writing. Other than that, there's nothing really else about the room that catches your attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just continuing with him. I just wanted to get an idea of what was in this room.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he says, yes, Rahadin. Like I said, his general. Back when Strahd conquered Barovia, he was his general in the many battles that Strahd waged to conquer the land. And like I said, serving as Chamberlain of the castle now. I heard apparently that the screams of the many people he's murdered, you can hear it around him, but that sounds like something I would come up with. Quite a feature, I would say. I've never encountered someone of that sort.
I'm sure someone as damned as him, anything's possible.
Yes, and being a close associate of Strahd, it's no wonder. I heard he was the one. Since considering you're going to visit the Dusk Elves, you should know that the Dusk Elves, all of their women and children were killed many years ago, and it was mostly at the hand of Rahadin and Strahd's other servants that Strahd carried out that order. Apparently, it was over a Dusk Elf woman that was one of Strahd's wives in the past, and the Dusk Elves proceeded to kill her and end her suffering. Strahd had turned her into a vampire, of course. And when Strahd found out about that, he retaliated and had Rahadin proceed to kill all the Dusk Elf women and children, and then leave the men in their misery. And now the Dusk Elves are a small, dwindling race here in Barovia.
Rain clenches her fists and is just like, I will kill Strahd.
And Rain, using dissonant whispers again, Rick Tavio responds to that and says, I was hoping you'd be of that mindset to kill any followers of Strahd. As am I. So, forgive me for being cautious, but I want to know a little bit more about the potential allies I work with. What brought you to Barovia initially?
May says, I am one of the druids of the Gnarly Wood, and I left there, and I was given a vision, and so I left my people to go fulfill the vision, and I came across the group of people that you saw me come into the inn with.
This group of people have kidnapped me.
And I've been traveling with them for about 2 weeks now.
I don't know if Rain, we really didn't discuss where, if Rain had any scars from this, but assuming they're, on her chest, Rain would, pull down her, studded leather armor to show the scar from before she was healed, on her chest, and say something to the effect of, Strahd killed me once, and I will kill him.
He actually, stumbles back. He's actually, standing there. He offered May, allowed him to, sit on the bed, and Rain to take the chair. So he was kind of pacing back and forth. And he actually kind of almost slips for a moment as oh.
Yeah, if there was a most serious
you
possible
fought Strahd already, and he killed you.
We have fought Strahd and Rahadin, and we
And
mean to again.
oh, well, that changes things. He says,
Gizmo yells from downstairs, "Those two are crazy!"
he just knows to respond.
He's like, they're whack!
Oh,
The tiefling's afraid of wells!
Mm-mm. No, he would just make a horse noise and we would just
Yeah.
know.
wow. My goodness, I was not expecting that. That, quite a turn of events. All right, well, that
The horse noises? The horse noises always happen.
No. He says,
No
well,
one
that
expects.
changes things. So, okay. Here, so let me key you in on what some additional secrets. Yes, I've been plotting on how to take out Strahd. Unfortunately, I'm a bit past my prime and not really the fighter type, so it's a bit beyond my capacity.
You could take lessons from Zoldak downstairs.
Oh yes, the half elf, one of the other half elves with you. But he says, but just because I can't fight doesn't mean I can't train some creature who can. He says, I have a pet saber-toothed tiger that I've been training.
Oh god.
Training to murder Vistani. Namely, specifically the ones at the encampment. I've been waiting for the right
Does
opportunity.
May know what a saber-toothed tiger is?
You can roll a nature check.
I would hope so. Ah, you don't know what Jack Squat is.
Yeah, I guess you're not really familiar with those sort of more exotic creatures.
Yeah.
Should Rain roll something as well for that then to know if Rain knows what that is?
Sure.
And May currently thinks Jack Squat's a bird.
Again, you're also not very familiar, but
What the hell is that?
yeah, he basically explains like when
See,
you
look, you should have me in the room.
May
Yeah,
says,
Gizmo
who
would
is
know.
saber-toothed tiger?
yeah, yeah. Rictavio says, "Oh no, my pet tiger is a saber-toothed tiger is like a normal tiger, but like a big cat, but much larger and with two large fangs, two very sharp teeth. Thus,
You're
the-
saying this is an animal?
yes, an animal, a creature, very large tiger.
I would love to meet this tiger.
Yes. And let me see, do I have... Yes.
You just
hope-
keep going,
that is
yes. Yes is
Yes,
not an
yes.
answer.
Yeah, no, it's not a name. I don't have a name off to...
Its name is Yes.
Go, yes!
Yeah,
Yes.
Now,
yes, sir,
The,
how
the only
about
way you
that?
can
Come
say it
to
is
yes.
like that, is yes!
Yes, how about that?
Rain,
Like hiss. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rain
Well,
says-
his yeah.
Rain says she's like, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like we need information from these Vistani, but after that, any ally of Strahd is an enemy of mine.
Good. I'm glad we are in agreement there. Yes. I plan, like I was saying, I was planning to unleash my tiger on the Vistani there and deal with them, but there are quite a few Vistani in the campsite. I don't think even my tiger Yith would be able to take them all down. But this changes things.
How many Vistani are there, and would you be willing to join us?
I would absolutely be willing to join you. As for number of Vistani, there are. He kind of looks up at the ceiling and kind of counts in his head.
He's
I mean,
leaving his neck exposed.
yeah. He says,
Furnock
I want to
comes back
say
in the day.
that there were upwards around 50, but not all of them are. That's including all men, women, and children, elderly. I'd say there were about maybe 20 to 25, about half that were able-bodied combatants, which is really the ones I care to take down. I'm not here to massacre, helpless elderly and children and women, but if they proceed to fight back and get in the way, if they're an enemy of Strahd, I won't hesitate.
An ally of Strahd?
If they are an ally of Strahd, I won't hesitate to kill them.
No, but he basically just claimed he'll murder anybody.
They are both human and allies of Strahd. Currently, those are two of Rain's requirements to commit murder. So, and I feel like if Bartleby were up here listening to this, as long as they are evil, they should be purged, punished by Tyr.
Yeah, Rictavio's kind of rubbing his hands together and says, "Yes, this will work out splendid."
I really don't trust him, by the way.
Rain is bloodthirsty after her murder, so she's just like, I gotta kill something.
So, next order of business. Have you worked out with your other companion when? I think catching them off guard at night would be the best pursuit. Or perhaps we should scout out the area and see if there's a more opportune time. And actually, depending, we might find that now might even be the most opportune time. I'm aware that the Dusk Elves and the Vistani, many of them are actually leaving the encampment. I'm not sure what they're looking for or why they're leaving, or if they're meeting with anyone or whatever they're doing, but I do know that the camp has been light on population as of present.
May says, I would wait for us to get our first impression of the encampment. We have yet to even be there.
Very, very true, very true.
This also catches Rain's attention as...
And plus, you said you were looking for a Dusk Elf, so I don't think it'd be good to jump in and attack everyone. Now, the Dusk Elves don't, from what I've understood, they don't seem to, they're there with the Vistani, but they aren't necessarily sided with or against them. They prefer to keep a low profile and not get involved for obvious reasons.
Well, it's not the women and children going out on these scouting expeditions, as you say, so why would we attack their innocence? And Rain is slightly more hostile now.
Mm-hmm.
What, towards him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rain...
He says, right. When I said they were sending out search parties, I was they do keep... They aren't totally foolish. They do keep some of their, able-bodied fighters back at the camp, from what I've seen and scouted out.
If this were a Mass Effect game, it would be like, Rain didn't like that. Rain still agrees that we should go there and potentially kill everything, but she doesn't like that. So, as May said, I think we should go there and see what information they offer. And if it is as you say, and they are followers of Strahd, I think
everybody a follower of Strahd.
Them.
Yes, Rictavio says, I don't think, as long as you don't do anything to greatly upset them, you should be able to talk with the Dusk Elves. While the Vistani do serve Strahd, it's not like they're just going to kill anyone on sight. They are at least civilized in that regard.
Well, we'll see how civilized someone that follows Strahd can be.
Does everyone in this land know that the Vistani are allied with Strahd? Or maybe allied with Strahd is the incorrect word. That they
Associate.
have favor with him? You know, like...
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are numerous people that know this. I myself, of course, know this.
Because
but-
before we came here, we didn't know that.
I see. Well, now you know. From my understanding of things, I would say, I'd say if any Barovians do know, they are powerless to do anything about it. Simply because attacking any Vistani, people aren't willing to draw attention to themselves by attacking the Vistani. I should warn you of that. If we do this, you can be sure that Strahd will find out one way or another. But that's why we keep a low profile.
Do you know if there is a way to stop the vampirism, the disease?
It would take some very...
It is all entirely foreign to me.
He says, if someone dies from being bitten by a vampire and having their blood drained, they will rise as a vampire a few nights after their death. Being bitten once or twice isn't enough to contract it, but it's only if you die from it. And then from there, the best cure I found is if they die, burn the body. Then they can't come back. They can't rise as a vampire. As far as how to cure it, though, if once the person has risen as a vampire, I don't know.
I'm here.
Well, we'll go forward with the information that you've given us, and we'll let you know upon our
Alright.
return.
I'm going to make some preparations here. If you want to wait for me to scout out the Vistani camp, you can find me here. I'm also over at the stockyard. I have a wagon out there. You might see me walking back and forth between there and here. But otherwise, you can find me here. If you want to go explore the camp without me, feel free to do so. But if you're ready to make your attack, please include me and Yith, my pet tiger, with you.
Will do. I'm interested in this animal.
Watch it be pint sized, because it's only like a cub. He's like, it'll still kill people. No, it won't.
Rain's last thing would be, as you could tell before, I am versed in magic. I will send telekinetically for you. Should we need you?
That's a fine way to do it. Yes. Very handy.
Yes. Rain nods and is following.
Okay, I'm just going to move him out of the room because, he's in there, but you can't see it. Yeah, Zoldak says, so? You were gone for longer than I was expecting. Did he answer your questions?
Yep.
We are prepared to go to the Vistani camp, and if they are less than welcoming, we have an ally.
Ah. Good. It's a step in the right direction.
Whether he's our ally or not, I still wouldn't fully trust him.
Right. Yeah. Ismark, says, right. We need to be careful. And by the way, as far as at this point, He says, I'll offer my services and try to assist you as best I can, because any help I give you is helping my sister. But we'll see. I might be of more use if I stick around here and try to find out more of what I can, but I will assist where I can in combat if necessary.
That's fine.
I don't, he says, I don't see a reason necessarily to move on to Crest by myself. I think I would be fine here at this point. But if you're looking for answers and trying to stop Strahd, visiting Crest may be helpful. There might be information there we can find too.
I welcome
Just
you
a
to.
thought.
I welcome you to stay, if you think it would be of greater use. We can gather information, and I can tell you what our next plan is remotely.
Okay. I think that will do. All right.
So it's probably a good stopping point.
Yeah, I agree. We can, and the other two people have left. Yeah, we'll stop there and pick it
There
up.
were just
Thursday.
pools of blood where they were.
Oh, whoa.
Good.
Yep, that should be good for Thursday.
Same.
Yep, I should be so far so good.
I assume Dave will be back with us, but that is depending on how his post-op went. Whatever
Yeah,
that
he,
it.
he
what do they
might
call
just
that?
be in airplane mode.
Yeah, prognosis, I suppose, is what they call that. So, however he went afterward, however he feels, and of course, if he can see, like,
Yeah, that's kind of important.
yeah, it's pretty important for at least
Living.
logging on. I really feel like today, because I haven't heard from him